Hey guys, we're gonna wait a few minutes for some more viewers to come on today. And hopefully the Wi-Fi doesn't cut out. Waiting for Suzanne to come on. And I wanna make sure everyone can hear me in the groups. Come on. Maybe you guys will get to see Michi because she's with me today. Michi? So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to log on. Today what we're talking about is chemical overload, because a lot of the ladies that have explanted are reaching out to me still because they're still not actually getting well. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things that are going on and happening after explant and how we can actually try and get into those cells and start to repair the cellular damage, because that's what's happening. So as most of us know, we're all familiar with the word Asia, which is an autoimmunity induced by silicone adjuvants. And that's what we're talking about today, because, you know, as we move forward with these groups, the whole point of this is to educate, getting to the root issue of all dis-ease. Because if we go back to what we did before, it's probably not going to work. And we may have an underlying trigger down the road that may cause some type of chemical overload, which, you know, symptoms like that, rashes, seizing, stuffy brain fog, migraines, lots of inflammation. All of these things are caused from additive chemicals and toxicity. That's what we're going to talk about on the group today. Waiting for everyone to join. Come on, ladies. What I'm trying to do with these videos moving forward is because so many of our BII ladies after explant, they're still having issues. So we're going to try and get to the root issue, especially now with what's going on. And what we're trying to talk about is everyday household things. That's what we're talking about. And we're trying to educate, because everybody knows that I do hair, right? And actually I talk about this a lot with my products and what do I actually sell for shampoos and things like that, which is going to be really interesting, because I do have some new products that are coming out, and they're basically like 3 ingredients. So I've had people over the last 30 years ask a lot of questions as far as cancer and my business, which is doing hair, right? Because I've done hair for over 35 decades. We'll tap onto that in another video, but this video today is about trying your everyday fragrances. We're trying to take a look at some of these things so everybody knows these words. So something like SLS, people know about that because those are sulfates, right? We know about sodium lauryl sulfate, right? Those are called SLS words, and those are like preservatives that are actually put in products, right? So what we're trying to do is educate the masses that actually after we explant, we can't go back to the things that we were doing before. So that's kind of what this is about. It's kind of like what's happening in the world right now, right? Everyone says, hey, we need to go back to normal. And I'm like, we don't go back to normal because the normal wasn't working. That's why this is happening. This is a deep awakening. So we actually can go, we need to make a difference. We need to change things because they weren't working before, right? Well, that unleashed everything. Okay, so we're talking about big corporations, and that's kind of how I'm going to try and stay on track with this video, because it relates to money, and it's kind of almost like follow the money when we talk about household chemical toxic overload, which is what what we're talking about. So if we remove the breast implants, right, there's 37 plus 40 heavy metals, right? Formaldehyde, glutathione, taurine, polymers, you know, we have a list of all those things that were inside the implants, right? But they're also kind of in everyday household items. So that's what we're talking about. I keep going because sometimes my brain just goes. So we remove implants, right? And everyone knows that I had cancer. So I already lost a kidney that I very much needed almost 8 years ago, okay? After I lost the kidney, I said something still wasn't right. And back then I was extremely healthy. I rode my bike and did a bunch of things back before that, right? So after the cancer, I said something still isn't right. Had the implants removed, right? Well, those were removed 3 years ago, and now I'm going, something's still weird, right? Because I'm like, what else could it possibly be? Remove the implants, remove 37 of those metals, right? And then I look around and I'm thinking, maybe there's something else that's adding to the root issue of what's happening to all of us. Because if they can't get us through the implants, right, because we've been tested as lab rats, they want to chemically poison us other ways. And that's what we're trying to focus and hone on in. So I'm going to be posting a couple of videos over the next couple of weeks. Once I get my leg rehabbed, and I want to show everybody what I did to do that, because I didn't use any chemical stuff to help get through my therapy. And things like daily washing my clothes, washing my hair, washing my pet that's down there. I use really 2 basic things. And you guys are going to be shocked if I tell you, so I'm not going to tell you yet. And it's really easy, and it's a couple bucks. And I can't wait to make the videos, right? So a lot of people ask me, what kind of products do I sell in my business, right? I don't really sell a whole lot of products. I don't sell a bunch of shampoos or conditioners or products like that. I actually sell stem cell things and health things. That's more what I sell in my salon. Now, do I have shampoos and conditioners? I do, but a lot of those only have 3 ingredients in them. So if somebody actually wants to come and buy shampoo and conditioner and things for their hair from me, they're going to have to use it probably within 7 days, because I make that myself. So I make all my own products, and there's usually 3 ingredients in them, right? Because I'm a hair expert, right? And I have people constantly ask me, they're like, oh my God, you do hair and your salon is so toxic. And I'm like, actually, it's not. If you see back there, it's all wood grain, teak. My floors are teak wood. The table's teak wood. There's no fragrance at all in here. When you come in, there's no smell. Maybe what you smell is olive oil, maybe a little bit of lavender oil, right? But the whole point of this is, after we have implants, because we've already been implanted and we're removing them, and we already know that we were sick because they were causing inflammation, right? So if the implants are inside and they have 40 heavy metals, and we remove them, we probably don't want to have another 30 or 40 heavy metals outside of us, right? Right? That's what I'm trying to say. Because so many people don't realize what's actually in the implants is in our everyday household things now. That's what I'm trying to tap on. I'm trying to hone in this and explain and try and make it simple form and go back to the basics, like with my TED Talk. So where I was raised, Amish country, pure spring water, no, we don't have a lot of paint and stuff like that. The house is wooden. I mean, the point that I'm saying is everything that my parents built with the house was from like Amish country, like the teak wood, the walls, the floors, all of that. So there wasn't all those added chemicals in the household growing up, right? Even say like hummingbird feeders. We don't put red dye in hummingbird feeders anymore, right? Because we know that's toxic to the hummingbirds, right? We give them what they need, which is their sugar water, because that gives them energy to fly around and look pretty and have us love the hummingbirds, right? So we've removed things from the animals because we know that that's toxic. But then as a human, we're not getting the big picture, because a lot of people still feel like there's certain things that aren't contributing to the histamine release or the inflammation, and it will, because it's getting into that cell. So we have cells, like 250 million of these cells. They're called the mitochondria. That mitochondria is supposed to function and burn off 250,000 of these daily, and we're supposed to replace those. That's how we get cellular energy. It's called cellular energy, because the mitochondria function is supposed to keep stable, right? When we hit about 40, that mitochondria function starts kind of slowing down, and those cells are either going to die, disappear, or they get correlated, okay? Which means the cell that you have here is now it's not being reproduced anymore because the aging, right? It's getting chemicals inside the cell kind of closes like that, the cell dies off. Once those cells die off, that's when we have aging rapidly at the cellular level. So we talk about this a lot. We talk about cancer a lot. I talk about this to everybody, whether it's breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, kidney cancer, okay? It's all the same. cancer mutations attack the part of the body that is the most compromised. So specifically me, my kidney was compromised from stress, mitochondrial function that was dropping, increases cortisol, right, and inflammation. Implants, as we already know this, vanadium was leaking into that kidney. Anger, stress, worthlessness, this is all having to do with what's called gaslighting. But gaslighting is a part of stress and chemical toxins, right? So you add all of that, then you add your household cleaning supplies. I'm gonna say 7th generation, because a lot of people are like, I do 7th generation, it's natural, it's organic, it's green. It's not actually. The first 2 words on all of those cleaning products is SLS and MI. And you wouldn't really know what that means unless you kind of like, oh, does that mean something? I think it means something. It's a preservative. So what's going to happen is if you keep dominating all of these preservatives on top and top and top and top, that mitochondria now can't even repair itself. It goes dormant like that. It dies. The cells die off. We get sick. Our body becomes acidic. So that's kind of what we're trying to tap on here. After having breast implants, and we all know this, we've already removed the implants. We don't want to go back and have more toxic overload. So we look at everything that we're doing during the day. So getting back to that, in my salon, as you guys know, and I can't walk around right now because I can't walk around because I'm still on the walker. I use lemon, white vinegar, and baking soda to clean everything. I even am making a hair product out that you guys are going to love because I'm making my own hair products. But like I said to everybody, when I actually do that and make my products, the products have to be used within like 7 days, right? Because they won't have a shelf life. In order for anything to be organic, like everyone's going, oh, we have organic color. There's no such word as organic color. It can be a plant-based color line, which yes, we have that, right? But we can't make it organic because that means we'd have to use it within like a couple days. That's what I'm trying to say. Because we're having a lot of these salons now, and this is why I had a petition against the governor of Arizona. So for those of you who don't know, I'm extremely a wealth of knowledge. Like my brain is just with so much information. And I get challenged a lot because I do hair extensions. So people will challenge me about cancer and toxics and your shampoo's toxic and all that stuff. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, here's the list. Okay, we have all of these toxins, right, from here to here, and we're actually having to pick our battles. Which toxins do we want? Which don't we want? Because we aren't going to live in a bubble like John Travolta. So to make that statement, I was also an actress, and all the movies that you're seeing were actually to educate the planet, and no one listened. So when John Travolta did the Boy in the Bubble movie in like the freaking 60s, that was to kind of be like, here we are in 2030. They want us to live in a bubble. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So all of these things that are happening with the whole deep state, with all of this stuff that's gone on in the last year, we're more awake, right? All of us are like, oh my God, we're actually awake, right? We know that the mask isn't doing anything but causing more acidosis and more gelins that we talk about a lot, more hypoxia, breathing issues, right? And more gaslighting, right? And then you're going to add the, which isn't a, and then here we have another 30 heavy metals, right? Then you go back to your home and you wash your hands, and then you have sanitizer, which is 10 more additives, kills living tissue, by the way. I've never, in my 30 years of having my salon, have used hand sanitizer. Boo! Hand sanitizer sucks. It causes tissue to die off. We use baking soda, apple cider vinegar, lemon, right? I've never once used hand sanitizer. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going crazy with all this stuff. So baking, right, vinegar for the oven, right. So I'm trying to cover this in a simple way for the ladies that have explanted already, even ladies who haven't explanted. We have had so many additive chemicals that once we take out the boobs, we don't want to go back to that because that cell now has the potential to reprogram in 365 days. We can take the cell that's this, if it's your cell is dying, we can actually feed that cell, and for 365 days, we actually can create a new body in 1 year. And I say this a lot because I've done it. We can do liver cleanse, kidney flush, bone health, DNA repair. There's a lot of things that our body can do within a year because it's designed to do that if we feed the body what it needs and we don't add more chemicals, which is what they're trying to do, right? So we have to combat chemtrails, right? Because we now have chemtrails. Then we have to combat the hand sanitizer everywhere we go. Sanitize, spray, sanitize, mask, crap. So that's adding more chemicals, more pollution. Does that make sense to everybody? Is that making sense? So when we talk about this M word, methyl lesionoonathione, that's a big long word. And I didn't know about that word specifically till a couple months ago because I'm in about 10 groups. Because my whole point of doing these groups and why I have you guys is because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right information. And if I don't give you the right information, I'm going to find it from someone else who's had the experience, and I'm going to try and explain it in a different way, right? Because I get that. You, me, the girl next door, the girl on the block, maybe aren't going to be all the same, and we're not going to do everything the same. Some people might not be as cuckoo as me with the things that I do. But if we can kind of limit a lot of the household toxins that we're living in after Explant, that's going to help keep our cellular function up, which is the mitochondria, right? It's definitely going to keep the inflammation down, and our cortisol level won't be spiked because we can't be in flight or flight mode constantly from fumes. So I want you guys to kind of notice these things. And I don't know if everybody's going back out or you guys go to gyms or you go wherever you're going. I kind of haven't really been out for like the last couple months because of my personal situation. But when I go to hospitals, I'm like, what is the smell? And that's what I even said to the doctor last Friday because I have a kidney missing. So I can smell everything. I said, smell chemical shit in here. They're like, no, we don't have plugins. Every room in the hospital has plugins, right? Glade plugins, air freshener, plugins. The roll that's coming down is fragrance. We want to remove all of that. That's what I'm trying to get down to the basics. We want to get rid of all that pretty smelly stuff. When I make my shampoos and conditioners for you guys, it's not going to be pretty and smelly because that means I have to add a fragrance in to the stuff that I'm making. And I'd kind of be a hypocrite and it would be an oxymoron because I'm making products to get rid of bacteria. Okay, so like technically like this, okay, like on the scalp when we talk. And we use shampoo here on the scalp, right? The reason why people have hair loss, this is $1 million answer, is because of inflammation and bacteria on the scalp. Alopecia, traction alopecia, male pattern baldness. Yes, DHA has something to do with that as well because we have to lower that, okay? But those things wouldn't be compromised if the body wasn't constantly being attacked with more chemicals. You get what I'm saying? So air fresheners, fragrance, laundry, dryer sheets, terrible. Laundry soap, 7th generation. I have to say this because we're talking a lot about the cabal. I talk about this a lot with you guys. And the money, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and George Soros and Jeff Bezos. All of these people with the money, if you actually go look back at the money trail and you go way back years and years ago and you see these people that have the money are the people that created the products that are making us sick and giving us chemical toxicity. It's not just the implants. DuPont, who made the first set of implants, which I've had, also was supportive to 7th generation. I'm just throwing these names out there. There's a whole bunch of companies. Baby diapers, those handy wipe things, baby diapers. So you imagine wearing a mask, imagine your baby wearing a diaper with plastic and methyl ozonone. I can't pronounce it right, okay? But I'm trying to awaken the masses with these things because these are just everyday things that people are like, I never really thought about that. Maybe that's why my kid is pissed off all the time. Or maybe that's why my autistic child is having more issues today because he's in diapers that are causing his lower extremities or going up through his GI to become inflamed, and it's irritated, right? Because growing up, I lived in Amish country. We had cloth diapers, like the cloth ones, right? My mom would go into her spring water well outside, out in the middle of Amish country, and we would wash our laundry like that, right? With the baking soda, and we hung our laundry out. I mean, growing up, I'm just like, fuck, my mom was a genius. I actually learned everything in the last 10 years to save my life. And in the last couple weeks, plugins and things around the house. So the point of the story to this is after removing Explant, we're removing things, we don't want to put it back in there. And anything that's on our skin, right? Because we know the skin is the largest body organ in the body. So if we're slathering on Body Works, I can't remember what the place is called, body lotions or something like that. If we're slathering on all of that stuff, that's being absorbed into our body. Did you get that? It's all being absorbed. Face, hair, skin. So my whole tangent and advocacy as I keep going to everybody, and that's why we are rebuilding the directory, the medically challenged community, because we are medically challenged. Because they keep fucking toxically destroying us because the rich people make money off of selling us bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. I by far am never going to be a rich hair extension lady because I don't feed people a bunch of bullshit. And I even say this to people. Why do I do extensions? It's not because it makes a lot of money. It's because I'm trying to grow people's hair out. And I do as minimal color as I can. So okay, I mean, technically right now, because I haven't had a place to live for a little while, as you guys know, kind of been homeless for 3 years and staying with my ex-husband while I broke my leg. And now I'm going to do another video about that because I'm so done with being gaslit by Western medicine doctors that I want to just like, ugh. So I'm going to start trying to do some positive videos, but the extensions, right? So when people come to me, they're like, my hair's not growing, something's going on. And I'm like this, there's like 10 things that I can say right there why your hair isn't growing, right? Hair isn't growing for 3 reasons. Chemical abuse, blow dryers. I have no blow dryers in the salon at all. I don't blow dry hair. I don't use curling irons. I use sea foam rollers. They're like little rollers. And I do minimum color. That's what the point of taking my hat off was. So when I do extensions and people want to challenge me and be like, oh, you're a hypocrite. You do hair and you're trying to tell us not to take this step. Well, when my wellness salon is fixed up again, I'm going to pan through and do videos. And if you guys see what I sell a lot of aloe, a lot of coconut oil. I sell a lot of vinegar. I do a lot of extensions, and I make my own color shampoos. So a lot of the shampoos, even now that I'm making, are with carrots, beets, eggplants. I know it sounds crazy to you guys, but that's what I've done for 3 decades. So when I went against the governor of Arizona, Doug Ducey, I'm going to explain this to you. Our governor, who everyone thinks is amazing, because we keep talking about this, it's not about the president, left-wing, right-wing people, right? Because I say that. It's about being aware of where the money started with the rich people, the Rockefellers and all of them that created all of this stuff. Everything has an overload of toxins. That's why I want to be really specific of people reading labels. So if anyone says that something is green, organic, and plant-based, it sure as shit on the back better say 1, 2, 3, 4 products, 4, and it probably won't last you more than like a week or 2, because if it truly is, it's not going to maintain shelf life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So in the whole hair world, people are like, oh, ammonia, it's toxic. If you want your hair, the gray, if you want to cover grays, it's all about science. It's not magically going to cover itself unless we open up the cuticle, right? Because hair is like a cell. It's like I got a cuticle, the cortex, and the medulla. We have to open the cuticle to deposit the color to get the gray away, right? So I even educate people on this. At 35, you shouldn't have gray. I'm 53 soon, and I'm now starting to. The point is gray hair actually is also a sign of lack of hyaluronic acid and cellular activity. So when people come to me, I'm just like, whoop, root issue. What's your diet like? What do you do on a daily basis? Where are you eating? What do you do outside? What's in your household chemical cabinet, your bedroom, your sleeping, your pillows? Do you get what I'm saying? After having an explant, and we've had quite a few ladies that have had silicone, they're called silicone bleeds. So that means that that silicone that was in the capsule actually is now in the cell, okay? Now, removing silicone from the cell, I'm not going to say anything's impossible because obviously people have healed themselves using their brain, like Joe Dispenza, he's one of my mentors. But if that silicone has a ppm, it's called ppm, particles per molecule, right? If that cell has been encapsulated with silicone, it's almost, I don't say impossible, but it's really challenging to get that silicone out of the cells. If the environment that's around us is adding to the chemical sensitivity. Does that resonate with everybody? So I have been consulting people for the last year. While I haven't been working, I've been doing consulting all over the world on our community directory, Medically Challenged, because my focus on the planet and what I want to do before I leave Earth and go back to where I'm from is I want to make sure I help everyone understand the root issue of disease. And we can't just go, oh, I'm going to ride my bike today. I got my Explant, and then I'm just going to have a Starbucks today and then go over here and microwave the pet food or something. I'm just giving you analogies. It's everything. It's microwave. We talk about Wi-Fi now. So we can thank the lucky cabal and what's his face, Bill Gates, whatever his name is, 5G, which I don't have yet, just so you know. We talk about energy and frequencies, right? We're talking about a cell. We're talking about the human body. We talk about DNA and how we can repair our DNA, right? Well, they can also fuck with our DNA, which is what they're doing with the, right? Which is an A, right? It's microchipping. So the whole point, what we're trying to talk about when we talk about is it's not even that, it's being microchipped. And I'm not sure once that actually happens, how you can really detox from that. So I'm trying to make sure I get to everyone, if I can, before they even go that far. Because if people aren't like this going, what's in the vaccine? What's actually in it? And then I'm like, here's the list for breast implants, vaccines, right? And the new, whatever it is, robot control thing. If you put it all together, implants, vaccine, and then you put some baby diapers, dish soap, sanitizer. You label that together. It's all the same shit. It's all the same ingredients. So the people that made the implants way in the beginning, Dow, right? DuPont, I can't remember how to say that. They actually funded baby diapers or Bayer powder, baby corn silk, plastic turmoil bottles is what I'm trying to say. Is the same people that made our implants also have funded half of the household goods, because if they can't get us from the implants, they're going to get us when we're sitting in our house. This is the whole point of my tangent today. And I wouldn't know half of the things I know if I hadn't had cancer, lost my kidney, hadn't been married to a Western medicine toxic overload. Because the reason why people come to me in the first place is because they've lost their hair. And I'm trying to say, this is why you're losing your hair, from those additive chemical overload of toxins. If you didn't have breast implants, more power to you. Most of my clients that get extensions, not all, but most have breast implants, right? And I said this to groups before. I lost all of my business because I went on a tangent about breast implants, right? Then I lost my business again because I went up against Doug Ducey, who's the governor of Arizona, because he tried to deregulate licensed professionals who are fucking certified through OSHA. So I have to go to these city health meetings and get certified through OSHA, who actually backs us and says the CDC is full of shit and that all of this are toxic. And I'm going, oh my God. So it goes back to the money and the rich people. That's what we're talking about. That's all I'm trying to say. We can't trust any more of them because they're making the fucking money by making us sick and using us as guinea pigs and lab rats. Take out the tits, go to your home and go, what's in my house that maybe should be removed? No air fresheners. Throw them in the garbage. Throw them way in the garbage, like the mask. Take the mask, wrap up your air freshener, and throw it in the trash. Plug-ins, right? Air fresheners, spray. Terrible. If you look on the back of the label, it'll tell you right on the front. Sodium lauryl sulfate and MI, the word I can't pronounce. Methyl sulfonylurea. I can't pronounce it, but I'm working on it. Okay, I'm a little brain dizzy from kills living tissue. If we keep using sanitizer, we're going to get sick all the time because your body hasn't built up the antibodies to go play in the dirt like we did when we were growing up, right? I don't believe in hand sanitizer. I never have. I think it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Soap and water, right? Soap, water, wash your hands. Laundry, if you guys can, may sound cuckoo, but I've been doing it for the last 2 years because I haven't had a home. Same thing. I drink baking soda. I wash my clothes with baking soda. I put it on my skin. Olive oil, coconut oil, the same. If you have a peanut allergy, obviously you can't do coconut, right? I use olive oil, MS flakes all the time. Rub on my skin. I don't buy any MSM from anyone because if you look at the back, I'm like, what the fuck? I tried to get 3 products about 2 months ago and I literally was like, are you kidding? This isn't just olive oil and lavender. It had the M word that I can't pronounce. So I was like, what's this MI word? And then I asked my chemist friend, he goes, oh, that's the word that they cover up. And they just say it's like paraben free. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So the whole thing with this Go Green and the planet's safe and this is organic shampoo and this is organic body wash. They're full of shit because if you look at the ingredients, it says the 2 words that I can't pronounce within the first 4 ingredients. So I'm like this, throw the shit away, right? Tell Jeff Bozo to suck it because Jeff Bozo sure as heck isn't using his shit to wash his body, okay? I don't know, it's his bald head or whatever he is living in his like luxury land. They're making money off of us being sick. That's all I'm saying. They can't make money off of baking soda. They don't make money off apple cider vinegar. They don't make money off of blackstrap molasses, olive oil, coconut oil, right? They make money bullshitting everybody. So hopefully TK can come back and start doing more of these videos and educate the masses. Now, I am in another group, and the lady that runs that group is really good with all of this. She'll tell you ears full, and you may not like what she has to say because it's literally, I'm going, oh, are you kidding me right now? But she's had so many seizures and her kid's autistic, and that wasn't from, because they are from all the other toxins. Does that make sense? So had my friend who's got seizures and all these issues now, and her daughter who's autistic, because they kind of, I'm like me, they live in their van that they get it out, and they made their van like green or something. And I told people I was living in my car for 8 months, right? And it's like I had to make sure that when I'm in there, you know, the charcoal in the vents, there's no air fresheners, like everything is as clean as you can be, is what I'm trying to say, right? And that's when I started picking up these things, right? Magnesium flakes, apple cider vinegar, right? White vinegar, activated charcoal. Like even my teeth, I haven't used toothpaste for the last 6 years. I use baking soda. and I coconut oil pool. So like everything that I'm saying right now, I've done for a decade. And if I didn't, I'd probably be dead, because on top of this shit with the planned scamdemic and this mask bullshit and not breathing and not being able to go outside and breathe the air because they're chemtrailing the shit out of us, I'm just like, oh my God. So what I'm doing obviously is working, because I'm still here alive talking to you, right? So what I'm saying is, I hopefully have limited the chemical exposure as I can. And then I'm going to start getting crazy in a couple more weeks, because it's now even down to clothes. So now I'm even going to start talking about the clothes we're wearing, okay? The whole reason why I dressed up in this Wonder Woman deal, are you kidding me right now? If I didn't do this Wonder Woman deal, I don't, like in the last 4 weeks, I can't explain to you guys, being in this wheelchair and having this broken leg and having no one to help me in Arizona. I'm like, there's been nobody. There's been nobody. I've wanted to be like, for months. But I'm like, no, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I have ladies on groups. I have to help these people, right? I just have to. And if it's just one of you, and I'm like, fuck, if I just reach one person, that's fine. When I leave the planet Earth and I go back to wherever I'm from, Starseed, Pleiadian, wherever I'm from up there, I can make a difference to one person, right? And all of this, I'm going to tell you this because it was in my TED Talk. No doctor, not one of those motherfuckers had helped me with any of this shit. Even the husband I was married to for 15 years, not once. It was my mom who talked about fruits, roots, seeds, nuts, and Jesus. The whole time growing up. That's all my mom talked about. She's like, no, we can't put red dye in the hummingbird feeder. No, we don't use microwaves. No, this is a copper, those skillets, the cast iron skillets. We had a stove. She was always cleaning with vinegar. Like, she's always like, no, don't wear that deodorant. That's toxic. Use this stuff. I mean, my mom who lives in Amish country. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? My mother is 80 years old and fucking roller skates. And that's what I said is 80. She's never had one issue. She roller skates because everything that's in the house is chemical free. Do you get what I'm saying? Because my dad built the house for them. And then I go, how comes I have all these issues? Like, I had cancer, lost kidney, had mild heart attack, had seizures, had a stroke, had 5 concussions, was in a coma for 2 weeks, broke my femur and my tibia. I have all this stress. I've lost part of my intestine. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, I get it. So all of us have a purpose, and I'm going to end this video in a little bit. All of us, all of you guys watching the video, anyone who's going to listen to this video later, we, as the collective, we all have a purpose here on this planet. Whatever that purpose is, and however you resonate, and whatever you want to do to save the life, the world, pets, you love pets, whatever it is you're going to do, we have a purpose, and the purpose is to educate others to not do what we have, right? That's what this is about. So once you guys explant, you can't go backwards. Like I say to everyone I talk to that has cancer, I get furious because I go, you had cancer twice? Oh yeah, I've had it like 3 times. I'm like, how the fuck have you had cancer 3 times? I've had it 1 time. 7 years ago. And I'd be damn sure, I said, I'm not going to have cancer mutations come back. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, cancer. I go, we don't get cancer. We don't. We do it. And she goes, I don't know what you're saying. I said, I'm probably going to upset you. And I did. And I lost more clients because sometimes I have to think before I say things because I'm so passionate about this, right? But I go, we don't get cancer. So just so you all know, all your friends who say that, oh, cancer, and we don't get cancer. We do it. And I did it for 30 years with those fucking implants first. That was the first problem, was the implants, because I've had them since I'm 18. And growing up in Amish country, I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? I grew up in a household where my mother even said, all of these things are toxic, and then you run off and get breast implants, and then you marry a Western medicine doctor when we're totally not even like that. I'm like, well, what the fuck? I guess that was a learning experience. So the point is, the purpose that I have from whether it's God or whoever made me in the body and this thing I am, I was supposed to get cancer and marry the doctor and break my leg and do hair to help you guys. That's the point of the story. The book that I'm writing is called Do more than hair, because I'm tired of people saying, we're just a hairdresser. You're not a doctor. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? If I was a doctor, I'd be killing you. I wouldn't be helping you. That's what I'm trying to say. Because they aren't educated like we are. And even if they are sort of now stepping it up, because we now, all this bullshit, we can smell it a mile away. We know where. Go back to the money. Where is the money trail that goes back to the cabal and George Soros? And I keep saying Rockefellers, Amazon, all of those. They're all in bed together. And the longer we support them and buy their bullshit, the more money they make and the more they keep testing us and controlling us like they're doing now with this mass shit. Because none of this shit has ever been about helping or preventing any of us. It's to control us, treat us like slaves, make us sick so they can thin the herd, right? We're not going to let them do that because we're superheroes. So the whole point of the Wonder Woman garb, real quick, and I'm going to say this. My neurologist said, hey, do you know if you stand in a Wonder Woman pose, right? And you watch that movie Superstar, she's like, Superstar. If you guys do that every single day, you stand in that pose and you're like this, your mindset, 20, 60 seconds, he says, we start creating new cellular energy, right? Our beliefs in our brain, because right now we have all these, we have a DNA. It's like repeating in our brain, right? So past, present, future, emotional, childhood, we have all these pictures that we see in our brain, right? So the whole point of the Wonder Woman costume is, because I already knew this, that's why probably why I created the charity when I had cancer, was because there was no way I was going to make it, being gaslit by the doctor and asking me why the fuck I had kidney cancer and telling me that it was all my fault. I'm like, well, had I known that the breast implants had 40 heavy metals when I was 18, I probably wouldn't have got the breast implants. Probably wouldn't use 7th generation soap bullshit to wash my clothes if I knew what the word said on the back, which I just figured that out in the last 2 years, right? Probably wouldn't use the dryer sheets had I looked at the thing and go, holy shit, it's got like 30 heavy metals, right? So now when I look at things, I go, that's the same shit that's in the implants. Vaccines, mask, dryer sheets, household, your soaps, wash your hands, sanitizer. If you look at ingredients, they're very similar to implants. That's all the video is about. Remove the implants, look through your house in the next couple days, make a list. Go to your bedroom, because where I sleep, well, I'll explain this all later. There's no Wi-Fi in there. There's no cable cords. There's nothing in the bedroom but a piece of teak wood, and I have a green mat that I lay on. I have like this therapeutic green mat. But there's nothing in there. No plugins, no Glade. I have some salt lamps, the salt lamps around, but no fragrance, anything. I removed the smart meters a couple years ago because we used to talk about that, and I turn all my Wi-Fi off. So at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep, I turn all the Wi-Fi off. Everything is off, and I sure as shit make sure my animals aren't near any of that. Do you get what I'm saying? So I do as much as I can to minimize the exposure. Because also, with those companies that I was talking about, and I'll make a list later, when they planned the 5G and all this bullshit scam, they knew that 5G, they knew this, would mutate infections and bacteria. So that's what's happening. The 5G now, all the towers that we see around, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but the birds are acting weird. So in AZ, we had a Minard yesterday swoop at us. I'm like, how is there this bird here? This bird isn't from Arizona. I'm like, what? Are you kidding right now? So the animals are being fucked with because their antennas, how they get out in the universe, they're being fucked with by 5G, the chemicals, right? It's a 675 GHz, so it means frequency is here. It's like blowing a whistle to like the whales and being like, kill the people trying to do the whales, right? It's like this frequency that the 5G now is sending out to the animals, to the universe, as a collective, is making more of the chemicals that we're using massicize. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's what we talked about earlier. The John Travolta movie, Living in a Bubble. I was an actress for 24 years. I've done over 50 movies. Every one of the movies that I did is based on truth. None of them were lies. We just didn't realize it until now. now that we have this awakening for a lot of us. So half the planet's awake, the other half is either asleep or on the same page as those people that they fucking are asleep with, okay? But the movies, because I've been in the movies, are to tell people, hey, 50 years ago, but we weren't able to hear the message. So does that make sense? So the John Travolta movie with the boy in the bubble, that was probably like, hey, this is what planet Earth is going to be like in about 50 years if they don't wake up and figure it out. Well, we didn't wake up and figure it out, but now we did. So now we have half the world that's woken up and figured it out. And then you have people like me and some of the other people that are having these advocacies that are trying to educate more, because a lot of people aren't aware about everyday household things, lotions, soaps, laundry. And like I keep saying, baking soda is so cheap. When I lived in Milwaukee, I knew Jeffrey Dahmer, sociopath, okay? Like this. If somebody is a narcissist, so I'm going to say that too, we talk about this a lot. A lot of us ladies are empaths. We want to help people. We're sensitive people. No, because we actually give a shit about things and planet and people and animals. We want to help people. And when people don't listen, we become dramatic because you're not listening, right? So the narcissist person has this. They have no cortisol increase. They don't have any inflammation or stress. And they're not using the shit that they're selling us, just so you know. The rich people, the 5 people that own almost all of the world of corporation, because only 10% of the rich fuckers own 90% of the stuff. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like 10%, these like Soros, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they own all the shit, right? So do you think they're getting vaccination and implants? No, because they know what they're doing. They're using us to do that. That's what I'm saying. When I go on tangents about ordering from Amazon, I'm like this. I'm trying to save the planet and the earth and the baby sea turtles. So all that fucking cardboard and all the boxes that keep coming, like I said to my ex, hey, maybe if you're going to order from that dick who actually is trying to kill the world, because he is, they want us to be gone, could you just have everything delivered in one box so you're not recycling all of this crap that they're throwing away? Or better yet, how about you get to go to the store locally and buy the stuff, because what you just bought is not even real. I mean, the shit's not even real that's coming from them. Do you get what I'm saying? Supplements, shampoos, conditioners, oils, or whatever people order from Jeff Bezos isn't even the shit that they're ordering. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's like going back to normal, people say. There wasn't a normal, because they've been fucking with us for decades. Since, what's his name? The Freemason guy. What's that guy's name with the flag? Benjamin Franklin. This has been going on for decades and centuries. We just didn't wake up until this last year. And now we have half of the world pissed off and awoken because we've been lab rats and guinea pigs and tested for the rich people. Does that make sense? So again, ladies, I'm going to video, but today's topic is about detoxing your home. Your household items, your laundry soap, your cleaning supplies, checking out your pet supplies, your pet products. I'm going to keep continuing to do these videos until I have 400 people go, I'm on the page, TK, I get it with you. I get it. Remove all the household toxins, dryer sheets, laundry soap. Throw your laundry soap in the garbage. Get a bag of baking soda. I'm not kidding. Get some wooden, I forget what they're called, clothespins, like my mother, who's 80, and hang them outside and hang the clothes out to dry. Does that make sense? Dryers. Fooled by the lies. No 7th generation. I can't anymore. Throw that away. I'm pretty freaking good at this. I can't pronounce a lot of stuff, but that's because I was gaslit for 15 years. I have a hard time at pronouncing things. And I also lost my kidney, which affected my peripheral cortex. So, again, everybody, thank you for watching today on MI. That's what this is about. Methyl, I can't pronounce it. It's going to take me a little. It's a big word. And I'll say this. If you can't pronounce the word that's on the ingredient list, it's probably not a good situation. Love everybody today. Be your own superhero advocates. Get some fresh air. Do your Wonder Woman stance, 20 to 30 seconds. I don't care who you are, whatever superhero outfit, do it, because this is the only way I'm staying alive. That we share our stories and continue to educate the masses and stay on the high vibration mode with our groups together. Love everybody. Get out there today. Take those pictures. Look around your house. Look in the laundry room. Look in the room that you're sleeping in. Look in the room that you do your studying in. Look in the baby's room, your dog's room, your car, and send me pictures. Love you, everybody.